Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities report, and starting with the weekly chart with the TLTs here, the treasuries, and they're doing the opposite to the yields. So we are seeing further downside. We don't have wave 5 of wave A yet. We need to take out that low there. This is a weekly chart. Once we do take out that, then we'll see an ABC pattern push back up here and then down again. This is the minimal count, the A, the B, and the C wave here. I don't like to label it wave 1 and 2 that would sort of scare me, let alone anybody else, but that's possible as well. We're in a strange bit of, I kind of think of myself as like a frog in warm water, the way the economy's unfolding with debt and things. But it's easy to be fearful, and fear sells as well. So we can see that. But anyway, I mean, basically we'll see wave A and wave B here for this, and this will be the same for in the opposite direction for this is the 10-year yields here. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at Australia or Germany or wherever, it's all same. There's not a lot of sort of variation. They all have to, keep their interest rates roughly the same. Raise them together to a point, otherwise money's not going to flow into that investment money's not going to flow into that country, depending what it's doing. I mean, Australia and our currency's been moved. Once it was at $1.10 and now it's like 64 cents, and they can't really put the interest rate down while, the US and the rest of them in Europe are, holding them up and considering putting them up further. China's not buying from Australia. So this is the first time we've seen that sort of divergence happen against terms of trade. We've got very high terms of trade, which give you a better living standard. So yeah, to see the Aussie dollar down while the terms of trade are high is a divergence, and something's not right in paradise, basically. So I sense that. But anyway, that's not I'm not a experienced in that area. As far as I can see here, as I've mentioned before, we've got these 5 waves up here, so we're going to still see, short-term and long-term yields continue to push up. Now, we may get a pullback in here, but we haven't taken the tops out here yet. So, yeah, there could be some, fluffing around here, but we're definitely going up further in due course. So that's the trend that we're on. And then this here, this is the space really that if you've got, well, as far as I see it, if you've got, home loans and those sort of things, and it may not be that, it could be a long time, it could be a short time. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a balanced type of correction against this particular trend here. So that could take us into a couple of years here. So you really want to crunch that home loan for sure, or any loans that you've got, because there will be another 5 waves here, delivers another 5 waves up. So this becomes a little bit sort of scary at this point. I mean, I can label it wave A and wave B here. It could be wave 1 and wave 2 here, but it's going to certainly go up and test the 1980 highs the way that I see it. So anyway, you've been told, and you need to prepare and not to get caught out is the main thing. Make sure you keep your options open. Okay, so the dollar, let's have a look at the dollar. I didn't bring that chart up, I'll need to find that. Okay, we've got the dollar here. I'm on the daily chart here, and I can see here that we've got wave 1 and 2 into here, and then obviously it's a little bit messy in here, but I can see this here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so a nice third wave in here. So I'm assuming this is either 1 and 2, 1 and 2, or all of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and going up here for 5 for wave 3, 4 and 5. So while this is continuing to push up, obviously this affects well, lots of things really, but as a sort of true reflection, it certainly hits in on gold, as we know. So dollar still trending higher, so there's no change in that. Obviously there was 2 points that we wanted to talk about while this trend was moving up here. One was this high and one was this high here. So we've reacted from this high, and it's quite normal for once it pushes up through this high and this high here to push up and then to come back and check it. And I think that's where this wave 4 comes in, to check this high, and tackle this high here. And once that consolidation is done, then we'll see a push to the upside there. So I don't see this trend finished, and I don't see the gold trend to the downside finished either. So on the and you can see that in the CAD and the euro, US dollar against the yen as well. So over to the gold here, we were looking at this in two ways. We're looking at it as wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C wave sitting in here for wave 2 here. And we're also looking at this as wave 1 here and 2 here, and then looking at wave 3, 4, 5 here, because it was a little bit difficult for me to understand while the currency is pushing up. And look, I mean, it's just not the currency as well. I mean, short-term yields, delivering such a good yield, I mean, that's a pretty safe place to park money, isn't it, really? So why would you put money into gold when the yield's so high at that point and the dollar's so strong, So yeah, so I think this did rally here, and it hit our 61.8%. I can see a reasonable. It counts better as an A and a B and a C. You could squish 5 waves out of it, but it's a little bit better. So now this move coming down here now is also in 3 waves as well. So if we just go in and check on this, so I could go, and I don't like to be, I really like to use as much evidence as I can see, and ferret out for myself. So this is the 50-60%, and naturally there's consolidation over here, so that's going to it's all going to, everything mirrors each other. And so here I can see this is 1, 2, and then in here all of the third wave in here. I could probably even squeeze it into there, but yeah, but either way, I still need to see one more here, and then the ABC pattern here. I could probably use that as wave 1, but it just looks so typical as a wave 4 here. You see, it's got sort of overlapping wave structures. So I think this is where this is at the moment, and then we'll come down at that point. So I could confirm this move here if we have that drop, because there would be a case of looking at this as an ABC to this point here. But the trouble with this, an ABC to this point here, I'm not seeing an impulse wave up here. I'm seeing a corrective wave here, which I think is part of a wave 4. It could be all of wave 4. It could be just the A wave of wave 4. But that's what I'm sort of seeing in there. And this will be the same for GDX, by the way. I haven't been looking at that for a little while, but I mean, GDX has got a nice clean wave to this here on GDX is... last time I looked at it was pretty clear that it was 3 waves and nothing else. So once GDX takes out this low here, then that would also be confirmed that it'll be taking out this low at that point there as well. So then we come over to, so we'll try to find a short trade out of this here in due course. And the other side for the silver here. So we talked about this a couple of videos ago where we were looking at this being a bit of a triangle pattern, and I could easily have it wrong. When you get into these situations, you know, I mean, they can get a little bit sort of tricky. At least you know that they're tricky. You know, that's one thing. We're facing this with the Australian market, and in the bigger picture it's coming from the banks, and in the smaller picture it's actually coming from the materials sector, because China's not sort of buying at the moment. And I just wanted to bring that up here for the Aussies here. So this is the sort of situation that we've got here in the materials sector now that we're in the commodity sector. So this has got further to play out, but to me it looks like a reasonable sort of triangle at this point. But we can come back to that section a little bit later. But yeah, so I'm thinking that I really don't know how this is going to play out, but if it's going to be in line with gold and the dollar and the yields and all the rest of it, if we're going to pull them all together, then we're going to have this move down here would be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to here for C, and then a D and an E over here in this case for silver. It may be more damaging and come down deeper based on some sort of ABC up here, and then a deeper C wave down here, and do we have a wave 1 here? So we could, you know, I mean, this is where it just gets into the guessing game, and I don't want to be too blasé about it, but you know, these are the possibilities, these are the sorts of things that needed to be considered. You have to continually to you know, make sure your own thinking doesn't get stuck. You need to keep thinking out of the box. We could look at this as wave 1 to the downside, and ABC for 2 here, and then deeper down here. You know, that's also possible. I don't like this as a wave 1. I could put this over to here, but the thing is that if this high here was just a bit lower than this one here, then we could have that nice 5 waves down there. So it's probably not the case, but these are the sorts of things that we need to kind of consider. I think that I might have that count on 1000 ticks or 100 or something. We'll just go in there, but I don't think that wave 1's actually there just yet. So just bear with me while I just get my bearings here. So yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward count, I believe, in terms of 1 and 2 and 5 waves here for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's a little bit sort of tricky here, but it's reasonably easy. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I put that in the same part? Oh no, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, 3, and ABC for 4, and then down for 5. So I think that we've got some sort of wave 4 here, like I mentioned with gold, and then we would have this down here as wave 5. This could get complicated and could go up a bit further and all the rest of it. But somewhere along here, what's this number here? 203, so that will be dancing there for a while, and it wasn't a strong bounce off 3. Normally get a stronger bounce, so it's very weak. So after that 5 waves here, after 5 waves here, we'll get some sort of ABC pattern here, and as wave 2, and then we'll go down. So like gold and silver, we'll look for if we can get a grip on this, and this could take 2 weeks or more. Once this is in play here, then this will be the US dollar index doing its wave 3 and 4 across that next high that I pointed out. I was just trying to find that chart again. I don't have it right on me at the moment. Again, it's disappeared in the sea of charts. But yeah, so that's where silver is at the moment. And then we come over to metals and mining. So definitely got a triangle pattern here of an A and then an ABC for the B wave, and then an ABC for the C wave here. And I could play it out, and I could turn this into a bullish C, but if that little spiky high here wasn't above that high, then we can look at this as 1 ABC for 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 here as a C wave, and then move up here further. it's possible to keep it's on my mind a little bit, because as you know, I'm always a bit wary of little spiky things that just take something out and change the whole count. You know what I mean? But still, wave C didn't make a new low down here for this either. So we'll stay with the triangle. I'm just not quite sure how this is going to play out here. I would expect, well, I don't know, I shouldn't even say that, because I definitely got 3 waves to here. Could we look at this as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 to the upside here? I just don't like this as a wave 2. It's just rather big, compared to this one. So I'm not there yet. I could look at this 5 waves down here, and then an A and a B and a C for the B wave here, and then come down. But because we've got 5 waves here in the opposite direction of the previous move here, that could be counted as corrective. That means that we would have another move up here. So we could have an A and a B and a C wave up here, and then come down. So I couldn't even tell you to go long at this point here either. I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. And after 5 waves, then we could go long above the top here. Of course, we can improve on that and go across the B wave and all those sort of things. So, it's going to take a little while to sort out. Where the dollar is at the moment, I don't think that there is a lot of zing in all of these, but I try to understand things. So obviously copper is quite, Dr. Copper is, as they call it, is quite central to the market. So we've got this is iron ore. Come back to that because I spoke about copper first. So with copper here, this is the copper futures. I'd been looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here and expecting the market to come down at that point. It has dropped a little bit, but it doesn't make it bearish at this point. I mean, even if it took out this low here, it still could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here and then move up. A bit unlikely, but technically it has to take out this B wave to prove anything at this point. So we've just been sort of watching it. This down here so far is not in 5 waves just yet. If I have a look at high grade copper here, just excuse it poking out the ends here and that, but this is the move down here so far. So we could look at this as the 3rd wave. I don't have the 4th and the 5th wave here yet. I just have 1, 2, 3. So I don't have, we'll probably get it, but I don't have that 5 wave move down here just yet for this market. So I don't see any bullishness here. I mean, if it took out the top here, then we could kind of look at it being bullish, and then we could look at BHP and some of the others, but in the meantime, I'm still considering it soft and not ready to make a trade move on it. If I had to bet, I'd probably be on the short side, but I just don't really have the setup for it either at that point, So we come over to iron ore, the other big one, and we've been looking at this as being bullish, as you may know, as big A and B and C down here, and then up for 1 and back for 2 here. The Chinese market's slightly different, as you may know, and it all sort of boils down to the details of getting the next direction. So the way I was looking at it was looking from the low here, looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then this one as wave 1 and 2 over here for this. So we were looking for 5 waves up here. We could see that we had this down the bottom through here. So we're just trying to understand this move here. Obviously, we could have a top in play here. It could, we need to have a look at the detail now. So can't really call it bearish at this particular point in time. But what I wanted to say is that after this 5 waves here, anything above that 5 waves then would be bullish. Otherwise, we're going to be bearish, and we'll be looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here. So based on that, I was looking at my Chinese one over here, and this is what we were looking for here. This is the little 5 waves up here. So I've got this little 5 wave here of 1 and A, B, C for 2, then 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit dodgy in here, but probably the best fit. And then we got this here. So, so first of all, we're at the 850 here, but the main point here is that we haven't made a new high above this one here. So we would have to consider this wave 4 being over here. that would be the first step. So we're not at that top just there yet. I don't want to put wave 5 in here as a truncated fifth wave. It doesn't quite fit anyway. So I don't think that we're actually there, but it's a rather big wave 4 compared to wave 2 here. So I don't know, I'm not sort of buying that a bit. Maybe we need to, maybe I need to rethink this a little bit and bring this in over here or something of this nature and look at it like this here. So we'll give that a little bit of consideration. I'll play around with this a little bit. We're not there yet with it. Yeah, I don't like it as a top because with this particular move, I think we still got further upside. And the reason I say that for is because of this first little move down here. This little first move here is in 3 waves and not 5 waves. So that's the first leg. So this is bullish corrective. So no matter what happens over here, it's part of some sort of corrective move. And I don't think it's wave 1 and 2 because wave 2 would be a 5-3-5 structure. So we're not there yet, but it's nice to see that it's made some sort of move. It'll come down and find support on here. And we'll see what that looks like, see how far it does come down. But let me just check this for a moment. That's the 38.2% retracement level here for that, and not really the wave 4 of 1 less degree. Anyway, I'll do some work on this. I should have done that before I did it, but certainly not going to buy at this point. We're not ready yet to do that. So that's the iron ore and the copper situation at the moment. And let's just go into the energy sector. So the energy sector here, the XLE that we've just been looking at a little bit. So we've been considering, this is the same for crude oil as well. This is just a neater chart, that's all, as 1 and 2. From 2 here all the way up here for 3, 4, and then 5 up here. And we've been looking for 5 waves up here, as you know. It appears that all of this is just wave 1 and 2 in here, and a nice strong 3rd wave in here. We're talking about this being a 4th wave developing. So that's still developing. It'll probably come back and test the 90, not quite sure, but then there's another push up the top here. Then we'll have the ABC pattern here. So this is the same for crude. So we're not really doing anything for crude, even though it can push higher. Then we'll look at this ABC pattern coming back, and we'll want to get this next leg up. We want to build into the next leg. We don't want to go buying right at the top here for that. So this will be crude oil here. That's that little wave 4 that we just talked about. So this little wave 4 in here. This is a daily chart. So coming into here, I'm just assuming, don't really have a good wave 4 to wave 5 here. Maybe there is a little 1 and 2 in here and a 3, 4, 5, but not, anyway, that's a little bit sort of, that box is not properly ticked, but an impulse wave here, a corrective wave here. So we should be coming down to this wave 4 over here for this, and then we should see one more push up here. So I think iron ore will do the same with this. It's kind of reminding me that, in an odd way, it's kind of in line with the US dollar. So this wave, when this moves up here, we could probably try to trade this up here because the wave 3 was quite long, and if we consider all of this being blue wave 1 here, then we should have, we should push up, probably want to get to 90. So that could be a nice little trade if we could sort wave 4 out correctly. It looks like we've got wave 1 and 2 here, doesn't it? So wave 3 is going to fall out of bed soon. You could probably short that if you want to, but yeah, so we could trade this up here, but it's this wave 2 over here that we really want, and I need to figure out, get some sort of perspective where that's going to come back, if it's going to come back 40, 50, 60, 70% with all of that, but we know that the change in Russian and Saudi policy of keeping the reins tight until the end of the year is certainly on track for a move up, and that they'll probably double down on that situation if they're getting away with it. Business is business, and if something works, well, rinse and repeat, so to speak. So that could certainly create a shallow wave 2 and a strong push up here, and this is the one that we're looking for. So we'll be doing more work on that, but this will be the crude trade, and we could probably do that with some type of non-leverage product as well. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.